Hello friends, welcome to AriserTalent. As we are studying topic natural resources, in it we have already started soil, in which I have told you how the soil is formed, what does it contain and what are the kinds of soil. Today we are going to study about soil pollution. Soil pollution. Okay, so what is soil pollution? Pollution means when the harmful substances are mixed in the soil. This is called soil pollution. Thus, we can say when the soil get contaminated with some chemical waste, some fertilizers or pesticides, or with some solid waste, then it get polluted and it reduces its fertility. This is called soil pollution. Thus, we can say the contamination of soil with solid waste, chemical waste, fertilizers and pesticides, then it reduces its fertility. Reduces its fertility is called soil pollution. Okay. As we all know, plants grow in soil and many living organisms, small living organisms live in soil. Okay, thus we can say that soil, we need a good amount of soil, we need a fertile soil for the growth of plants. But if the soil will be polluted by these agents, then it will reduce its fertility and then plants will not grow properly. Okay, so this is soil pollution when the soil get contaminated with solid waste like garbage, plastic, rubber, chemical waste by different chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides, then its fertility reduces, then it is called soil pollution. Now, what are the sources of soil pollution? Sources of soil pollution means how the soil get polluted. Then there are main sources of soil pollution like chemical waste, solid waste, and excess use of fertilizers and pesticides. Excess of fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, so if we talk about chemical waste, generally this chemical waste is produced by industries. Thus we can say it is produced by industries. When industries produce harmful chemicals and when we throw this waste on the soil, generally we throw this waste into the roadside of the we can say railway tracks, roadside of the railway tracks, vacant sides of the road, and then this chemical pollute the soil, okay, and make it barren. So this chemical waste pollute the soil. Thus, we can say that industries release some chemical waste. It pollute the soil. Okay. If we talk about solid waste, this is the main source of soil pollution. How it is main source? Generally, solid waste contain all the plastic and peels of vegetables and fruits, rubber, worn out clothes, bricks, stones, metals. Okay, so these are solid waste. When we throw these solid waste on the soil, then they pollute the soil and make it unfertile. Solid waste such as bricks, rubber, objects made of rubber, plastic, etc. Okay, when we throw these things on the soil, then they pollute the soil and make it unfertile. Excess of fertilizers and pesticides. When we use fertilizers and pesticides in excess for the crop production, then they get mixed with the soil and make it unfertile, or it pollute the soil. Excess use of fertilizers and pesticides in the crop production pollute the soil. When we want to protect the crop from pest, then we spray the pesticides on that, and when we use the excess amount of pesticide, it get mixed with the soil and pollute it. Okay, now these, after the topic of sources of soil pollution, we will discuss about the what are the harmful effect of this soil pollution. Harmful effects of soil pollution. Okay, as we all know that soil is a mixture of many non-living material and living organisms. Okay, and we all know that soil is very essential for the plant growths and for the basic needs of human beings and animals, because we all need plants, thus we can say we all depend on plants. Okay, so what are the harmful effects of soil pollution? If the soil will be polluted, first of all, it will affect the growth of plants. Thus we can say it will affect, if the soil will be polluted, then it will affect the growth of plant, as plant needs proper soil which contains all the minerals, water and air. But if the soil will be polluted, then definitely it will affect the growth of plant. It will affect, soil pollution will affect the health of human beings or health of living organisms. It will affect the health of living organisms like humans and animals. How it will affect the health of living organisms? As we all need soil. How do we need soil? We know plants grow in soil. We eat those plants, part or directly the plants, small plants, and once we eat the polluted part of the plant, then it will affect our health. It will make us sick or it may cause many diseases. Okay, if the soil will be polluted, then it can be barren. Then we can say that soil pollution will affect the fertility of the soil. It will affect the fertility of soil. Okay, excess use of harmful chemicals like fertilizers, pesticides can make the soil unfertile, and once it will become unfertile, then plants will not grow there, and slowly the soil will become barren or unfertile. Okay, so generally these are the main effects, mean harmful effects of soil pollution on the plants, humans and fertility of soil. Okay, now we will discuss about soil erosion. Our next topic is soil erosion. We studied what is soil, how the soil is formed, what is soil pollution, what are the causes of soil pollution. Now our next topic of discussion is soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Erosion means removal. Erosion means removal. Okay, so soil erosion means removal of soil. Thus we can say means removal of top fertile soil by the action of wind, rain, etc. is called as soil erosion. Or we can say removal or transportation of top fertile layer of soil. Why it is top fertile layer? Because it contains humus and minerals. So removal or transportation of top fertile layer of soil by the agents. What are the agents? Agents such as wind and rain. Okay, so removal or transportation of top fertile layer of soil by the agents such as wind and rain from one place to another, or we can say from its original place to another, from its original place to another. This process is known as soil erosion. Is called soil erosion. Okay, when the top fertile soil get washed away or get shifted from one place to another, this is known as soil erosion. Now, what are the causes of soil erosion? Causes of soil erosion. If we talk about the causes of soil erosion, how the soil get washed away, then number one we will discuss about heavy rains. Heavy rains. Okay, when it rains heavily, then rainwater take away the top fertile soil with it. Then this is known as soil erosion by heavy rain. When it rains heavily, the rainwater takes away soil particles of top fertile soil, top fertile soil with its flow. Okay, this is known as soil erosion. Thus we can say heavy rain is the cause of soil erosion. Another is strong winds. When the strong winds blow, then they take away the particles of topmost soil with it. when strong wind blows, it take away soil particles from one place to another, or we can say it shifts the soil particles from one place to another. Okay, another cause of soil erosion is human activity. What are the human activities? We all know that humans are expansion the urban areas. They are doing the expansion of urban areas, and then they are cutting the trees, and then the soil particles become loose, and thus they can washed away with the heavy rain and water. Like urbanization. Okay. For the urbanization, human cut trees and thus topsoil become loose. Okay, and thus the soil particles get washed away with rainwater or winds. Okay. As we all know that roots bind the soil particles together. Once we will cut down the trees, then there will be no roots, and then the soil will become the loose, and thus it can get washed away by the rainwater or wind. Okay. After it, we can say strong winds or strong storm. When there will be storm, definitely if the soil particles are loose, then they can be shifted from one place to another. Strong storm can take or can shift soil particles, or we can say loose topsoil from one place to another. Okay, beside it, another cause is improper farming. Improper farming. In improper farming, what happens? Generally, farmers loosen the topsoil for the cultivation or for removal of weeds. But if they do not cultivate the soil or cultivate the field for a long time, then this loose soil can be washed away with the rainwater or wind. Farmers loosen the topsoil for cultivation or for removal of weeds. Okay, but if the farm is not cultivated for a long time, then the topsoil can be washed away with the rainwater or wind. But if it is not cultivated for a long time, then topsoil can be washed away with rainwater or wind. Okay. So these are the main causes of soil erosion: heavy rain, strong winds, human activities, storms and improper farming. Now what are the harmful effects of soil erosion? Now the harmful effects of soil erosion are, as we all know, once the topsoil get washed away, definitely it will cause many harmful effects on the human lives or in the nature. So next topic is harmful effects of soil erosion. Harmful effects of soil erosion. What are the harmful effects of soil erosion? Number 1, loss of fertile soil, means loss of fertility and desertification. First of all, loss of fertility and desertification. Loss of fertility and desertification means, as we know, that top fertile soil get washed away. Okay, then once the top fertile soil is get washed away, means we can lose the fertility of soil, and once the top fertile get lost away, only the infertile subsoil is left behind and we cannot grow the plants there, then slowly it will convert into the desert. So this is known as desertification, or you can say when top fertile soil is washed away only in fertile subsoil is left behind. As it is infertile subsoil, it does not have humus, it does not have mineral and water, then plants cannot grow there. Okay, so plants cannot grow there, and thus the fertile soil will convert into the desert, and this is known as desertification. Thus this area will convert into desert, and this is known as desertification. This process is known as desertification. Okay, so what is the harmful effect of soil erosion? That all the humus, minerals, water will get washed away with the top fertile soil, and only the infertile subsoil will be left behind and we cannot grow plants there. Thus the soil will be, means the area will convert into desert, and this is known as desertification. Another harmful effect is landslide. Landslide. Okay, so if we say this landslide, where does it occur? Landslide in hilly areas. What happens? Generally, we all know that topsoil contains all the minerals and humus, okay, and plants grow in that. And if plants will grow there, definitely the roots of plants will bind the soil particles together. But once the topsoil get washed away, okay, then the another pieces of rocks will be slide down with the help of rainwater, and then this is known as landslide. So, another harmful effect of soil erosion will be landslide in the hilly areas. When topsoil will be removed, then small pieces of rocks will slide down with the flow of water. Which water? With the flow of rainwater. Rainwater, and it causes, or it is known as landslide. Okay. Next effect of soil erosion is flash floods, or we can say flash floods. Next is flash floods. How they occur? As we know, if there is a good vegetation on the mountains, okay, then the soil particle will be bounded with the help of roots of the trees. But if there is sparse vegetation, then they cannot bind the particles of soil, and thus it will result in the flash flood. Means rainwater will move rapidly, and it will result in the flash flood in the lower areas of hilly regions. Okay. So we can say roots of trees bind soil particles together, okay. But if there is only sparse vegetation, if there is sparse vegetation on hills, then they cannot hold the water, okay, and they cannot hold water, or they cannot absorb water, okay. Thus water, or we can say rainwater, will move rapidly, and thus it will result in the flash flood in the lower areas of hilly areas. Thus it will result in flash flood in lower areas of mountain region, okay. So if there will be good vegetation on the hills, then the roots of trees will absorb the rainwater, but if there will be sparse vegetation, then they cannot hold the much amount of water. Then in the result, what will be the result? Then the rainwater will move very rapidly, and then it can cause flash flood in the lower areas of mountain region. So what are the harmful effects of soil erosion? Means once the topsoil will be washed away, then what will be the harmful effect? That it will lose the fertility of the soil and it will cause the desertification. Another is that landslide in the hilly areas, and it will cause the flash floods. Beside it, it can cause famines. It can cause famine. Famine means lack of food. Okay. So if the top fertile soil will be washed away, then we cannot grow plants there. Why we cannot grow plants there? Because the topsoil contains all the humus, minerals and water. Okay, once it will be get washed away, then only the subsoil, which is infertile in nature, will be left behind, and then we cannot grow the plants there. And once we cannot grow the plants there, we cannot get the food, and thus it will cause famine. Okay, so when topsoil will be removed or washed away, only infertile subsoil will be left behind. Okay, and if the subsoil will be left behind, definitely it do not have any humus, it do not have minerals, so plants cannot grow there. So we cannot grow crops there, and if there will be no crops, then there will be lack of food. It will cause lack of food crops. Okay, thus it will cause famine. Clear? So once the topsoil is removed, which contains all the humus, minerals which are needed for the plant growth, then it can carry, once it will be washed away, then only the subsoil, which is infertile in nature, will be left behind, so we cannot grow the crops there, and thus it can cause famine. Okay, thank you.